Ladies and gentlemen, this is the main event. Fight fans worldwide, you've tuned into the #1 undisputed boxing podcast today. This is the Boxing Breakdown. Now, your heavy-handed, hard-hitting host, Roxey.
In 3, 2, 1. What's up, what's up, what's up, and welcome to another edition of the Boxing Breakdown. I'm your host, Mark Roxey, and I am here with my partner in crime, Mr. Harold Hunt. Harold, what's up, what's up, what's up?
How you doing, man? Good to see you again, man. We got a lot to talk about. Good stuff happening in the past.
Yes, man. Yes. A lot of good stuff. It's been a while. We haven't been on for a couple of weeks. Taking that much-needed summer siesta, that summer break. And it's been really, really great. And we are refreshed and ready to jump back on and into some, most recent boxing news. And folks, if you are tuning in on Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts, thank you for listening to us today. And if you are tuning in on YouTube, thank you for being with us. Please don't forget to smash the like and subscribe, notifications, hit all of that stuff so that you know when we go live. And finally, if you are on YouTube, you are welcome to get into the conversation, leave your comments. They will be put up on the YouTube broadcast live. And so, yes, don't forget to get into the conversation whenever you like. Okay, so we're happy to be with you. We're going to switch gears. Here we go. We have a lot to talk about. And again, the most important thing is we are going to start off with the Gervonta Davis versus Frank Martin recap. Harold, did you see the fight?
Yes, I saw the fight. I'm in transition, so I am in temporary digs until the other digs are complete so we can continue this. But I was able to see the fight in my travels, and I caught all of it. I've been watching it for like 3 days now. So yeah. I have a good idea of what I saw, and it was really good to see.
Well, we know that, obviously Mr. Gervonta Davis, was able to come up victorious, and he did it in impeccable fashion, man. I mean, let's just dive right into it, Harold.
Okay.
What were your thoughts about the fight, your initial impressions?
What my initial impression was the run-up between, the press conferences and all that type of thing or whatever, they are some kind, to me, a preclusion what could possibly happen. And I kind of saw Tank taking a forward step in that and kind of get into his head somewhat mentally, what have you. And, when that kind of thing happens, you can kind of see it in a sense. In the very first round, when Gervonta was stepping toward him and he's retreating, as far as I was concerned, the fight was already over. The mental part of it was done. Now we just had to see if Frank Martin had enough skill to survive and keep Tank from knocking him out, and he didn't have it. After a certain amount of time, the IQ was exhausted on Frank Martin's part, and Tank was able to figure the situation out and close the show.
Yeah. Well, Frank Martin lost. I believe he lost the first round. So he lost on all the judges' scorecards. He lost the first round. He lost the second round. He lost the third round. It looked like he might have won the fourth round. He might have won the fifth round. Is that right? Am I reading this right? Or was it reverse? Was that reverse? Was Martin? Yeah, Martin won. It looks like Martin
first
won.
3 rounds, supposedly.
Yeah, he won the first 3 rounds, right. I'm looking at the scorecard right now. I flipped that. Apologize, everybody. So, yeah, he won the first 3 rounds.
Yes.
Which is amazing. So, tell me about those first 3 rounds, Harold. What did you see? What?
Well, when I saw Tank taking his time and seeing what type of opportunities he would have. if he was going for the feints and all that type of thing.
Right.
Well, like I said, once he started walking him down, it was kind of, take your choice, a la carte. Do I want to go to the body? Do I want to go to the head? Do I want to do this? Do I want to do that? What is he giving me? Because he is definitely on the run. So there was a time in the 5th round. Well, I'll get to the 5th round, but he got hit. They both got hit clean, and Tank ate it like it was a peanut butter and jelly sandwich, like it was nothing. And Frank was rocked. So that was a precursor to me. But the rounds were great because it really showed Tank's opportunity to use his IQ to kind of walk him down. He's very vicious and brutal, and he's a killer, and that's a beautiful thing to see. And after a while, Frank was just trying to survive the situation, but it was a great fight. I really enjoyed what happened. Now after the 5th round, after the knockdown, but after they exchanged punches and there was no damage to Tank, I knew what was going to happen eventually. What you think, Mark?
Yeah, no, I mean, this is what Gervonta does, and he's done it. You can go all the way back to the Leo Santa Cruz fight, the fight prior to that with Pitbull. This is something that is a tactical. I think at this point, it's you can expect that the early rounds, he's going to give up those early rounds so that he can figure out how to calibrate what's going on. And then, take you out in the later rounds. And he does that, pretty much all the time. I think in this particular fight, after those first 3 rounds, round 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 were all, obviously 8 was the end of the night, but all the other rounds were dominant performances by Tank. So it only really took him 3 rounds to kind of figure out what he needed to do with Frank Martin.
Yes, and it was as he did with Garcia, both Garcias.
Yeah.
The one in DC and the Garcia of note. He did the same type of situation. He does all of that because that's just what he does. Yeah. And to me, his allure isn't necessarily how tactical he is. Heads like you and I and other people, we know how technical he is. But for the average fans, they know that it may not look like anything, but they know that at one point, the other guy's going to get knocked out, and they don't want to miss it. So you watch the fight because you know there will be a clean shot, and you know that clean shot is going to end the night. So you wait and you wait for it because you know that it's coming, and that's the more allure for me, for him.
Yeah. No, I'm looking back in the history of Gervonta Davis. What's interesting about his career, folks, is that he only has 30 wins, 28 coming by way of knockout. He only didn't knock 2 of his opponents out, right? And one was an RTD, and it was a win. Obviously he won. And I just, and then another one was a unanimous decision win by Ivan Miraz, I guess is his name. That fight took place in 2014, October of 2014. It's the only fight that he got a unanimous decision win on. Right? That one, and then the RTD, a couple months earlier in, I think it's May 16th of 2014. So other than that, everything on Gervonta Davis's record has been basically KOs and TKOs.
It has been, and they don't necessarily, denote those other categories. They leave it at 29-0 with 28 knockouts. So now it's 30-0 with 29 knockouts. Yeah. So
28 KOs.
Yeah, 28 KOs and 29. Well, this is his 30th win, right? Or 29th win.
This is his 30th win, and he's got 28 KOs. So,
right. Yeah. So that one guy and Cruz.
Yeah.
And Cruz is making a living off of that, boy, for real.
Yeah, yeah. But, Isaac Cruz is, he's the only guy that didn't get, slept.
Yeah, basically. But he hurt his hand, and he couldn't hit him.
This is something to really, folks, you got to really pay attention to this guy's record because the only other guy that could kind of pull this kind of a record off is a Mayweather with the opposition that this guy has faced. I mean, he, if you look at it back to 2019, let's just go there because we don't want to go all the way back. It would take the whole program. But if you go back to 2019, Harold, he fought Yorokis Gamboa.
I was in the house for that.
Yeah, that was in Atlanta. He slept him for that. That was in your old alma mater. And then, he fought Leo Santa Cruz in San Antonio. That was his next fight. Again, he KO'd him.
He said that's his favorite knockout.
Well, that was an impressive knockout against a future Hall of Fame fighter. Leo Santa Cruz is one of my all-time favorite fighters. And, someone who is so idiosyncratic, but at the same time just has given so many great fights. And, he had a stellar career, which is now over. I believe he's completely retired. But, and that fight was what did it, so that's a major win for Gervonta Davis, and then he goes and he fights Mario Barrios and he TKOs him as well in the 11th round of a 12-round fight.
And that was a tough fight to get. It was a tough fight to get that boy out of there because that boy was really trying his best not to get knocked out, not to fall into the trap. Yeah, and he tried his best. The IQ just got him where he needed to get him. And he got him. That was a tough knockout.
Yeah,
that one was. The rest of them,
yeah,
it inevitably was going to happen because he was just putting them in a position. But that one, with Barrios, he had to go find that one.
Well, Harold, early on in Gervonta Davis's career, Harold, when he was fighting 4-rounders and 6-rounders, he'd pretty much take them out early on in the fight. He'd get rid of them in the first round, second round. There was an early fight where he fought a guy named Eric Jamal Goodall, and that was actually in Bethlehem over here in my hometown. And he fought Eric Jamal Goodall, and he went 4-4. So that was like, he went the distance on that fight, but he got him out of there in the last round. And then everything else starts to be like, halfway through the fight, he's taking people out.
Yeah, they're all shocking. They're all of the same timber. They're not the kind where you get worn down. None of them. All of them are the shock knockout where it comes from somewhere you don't see it, and then you just drop. And and that's the shocking kind of power that he has, and it's just really good to see. That they liked him to your boy initially, just like small Tyson or whatever, which is fine. That's a good baseline to start with. But he's developed his own type of knockout premise because the anticipation is Mike's was very anticipated. You knew it was going to happen, but he has his own little twist to it that this is vicious and nasty to me.
You know what I notice about him? If you're looking at it tactically, right? This is a guy who uses the opponent's aggression against them time and time again. And if you look at the fight, if you go to the Rolly Romero fight, and you see how he carried him for the first 6 rounds, and he let Rolly Romero just, hang himself basically. He walked straight into a straight left hand, and I believe it was a left hand or a hook. It might have been a hook. No, it was a left hand. It was a left hand.
Left hook.
Yeah, it was a left hand. That's right. And he check hooked him on the way out to finish the job. But that's right. I remember that fight because I was in the arena for that fight.
But this one wasn't the same as that one.
No.
This wasn't the same as that.
No.
He set Frank up and sit there and wait and then popped him.
Yeah.
He didn't have Frank wasn't running all in, none of that stuff. and then Frank had the nerve to say, hey, I got comfortable. No, you didn't get comfortable. The body shot slowed you down, and then you got hit. Well, I got comfortable, and I wanted to. No, that's not what happened. Those high-low body shots were slowing him down, and when he got sentimentary, he got hit.
Well, and he didn't do his job in keeping Tank at bay and keeping Tank where he needed to be in the ring. He let Tank just walk right up into him, and he actually helped him. He actually closed up the guard, went high guard, sat down, up against the ropes and brought Tank right to him. So, and then he tried to look for his opportunity to escape the fight and exit out to the right. And when you exit out to the right on a southpaw and you don't cover up the middle, you're right in line for the hook. But more importantly, you're right in line for that uppercut. And when he got touched with that uppercut, with the left uppercut, right up the middle, that was it. It was over. In fact, Tank didn't have to hit him with the left hand around the corner. He didn't have to hit him with that last shot because he was already going down. All he had to do was touch him with a jab and he would have gone. But when he touched him with that rear left hook, right on the temple, right on the jaw, wherever it landed.
Yeah, it was like a twisty type of thing. It wasn't, it didn't come straight up, right? But it kind of got twisted and got redirected around the. Yeah. You saw that, Mark. It beautiful.
It's the left hand venom. It's the southpaw's venom. Is what I call the southpaw's venom. When the southpaw reaches around your guard and comes around with that rear left hook, with that kind of power, the power that Gervonta Davis has, you knew. I was worried when I saw his legs come out from under him and him hit the ground. I was really, really concerned, and I was super thankful that he was okay.
I agree with that. But the first one where he stood him up, that one was the vicious one, not the one that closed him off where he hit him and he went to the very first twisty uppercut. That was lights out.
Yo, when he knew that he could touch him with the uppercut, he did just what he did with Rolly, just with a different sequence, right? He was the aggressor, but he allowed Frank Martin to just try to dip out the side door, and he caught him same way. Just it's amazing because the way that Gervonta Davis is so. He's such a mercenary, his approach is just surgical.
Yeah.
And it's I really appreciate the way he has done all 28, but particularly these last couple of fights have been, he's just getting better. He's getting better.
His IQ is really showing, isn't it?
Mm-hmm. He's getting sharper. His choice making is better. And the one thing is, for those of you that like to place bets, man, if you go back to the stats, the last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, the last 6 fights that he's had, they have all come, all of the KOs, TKOs or KOs have come after the 6th round, the second half of the fight. So, I probably could go back, but, I could go back and, so it's like the last 8 fights have all happened in the second half of the fight, all the knockouts. So
that's what he does. And as far as entertainment is concerned, just each round as it goes by, knowing that he's going to reach the situation. Yeah. So I guess the excitement will come when someone who is under his radar hits him and makes him change his mode of operation. As of now, I don't really see that. It'd be a nice little meeting of the minds with him and a certain Lomachenko, but youth will prevail there.
I like to see that fight. I really like to see that fight because, youth will prevail, and also we understand that there's a power differential. Yeah, I'm telling you, there's a power differential between he and Lomachenko.
Hey, I forgot about that.
Loma's great. Loma hits good. His placement can, he's taken out a lot of really good fighters as well. But I gotta just say that, and again, what kind of trap will Gervonta Davis have
lay for Lomachenko?
He'll lay a trap for Lomachenko like he's laid a trap for all these 28 other fighters.
Yeah, but you got to think about Lomachenko's pedigree, all right? He's seen it all. Okay, Tank didn't do Olympic. Tank didn't do international. Yes. Tank didn't do that much to see that discipline. Now, Lomachenko's going to lay that on him. We have to see if he can technically get by that. If he doesn't, then he has to brutalize Lomachenko.
Ooh, yeah, that's a good point. I mean, again, I don't see anything happening in the first 8 rounds of the fight. And as an older fighter, Lomachenko should beware, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, because those are dangerous rounds for Southpaw. But the other thing is, and I've said this before on the program, Harold, I've said this a lot of times. What is the worst thing a Southpaw could face?
Another Southpaw.
I mean, it's always messy, and it's always, it's not the best fight for a Southpaw, because Southpaws spend.
You lose your advantage initially, right? Because you go into fights with an advantage, correct?
It just depends on how many Southpaws you're used to facing. I mean, does Lomachenko spend a lot of time fighting a lot of Southpaws? We'd have to go back and research his record. I can tell you right now that, as far as Gervonta Davis is concerned, he has not faced, like, the majority of his opponents are not Southpaws.
This guy was.
Who?
No, he wasn't a Southpaw. The last one was who? Who was the last one he fought?
Well, I wish Gervonta Davis was on the program, because he'd tell us back early on who was, which one of these guys was Southpaws, because I don't remember. But I know that in the fight, Yuriorkis Gamboa was not, Leo Santa Cruz was not, Rolly Romero was not, Isaac Cruz is not, Hector Garcia was not, Ryan Garcia is not, Frank Martin is not. So any of those guys that he's faced in the second half of his, career, none of them have been Southpaws. So, that is something to see. If
that is, because your advantage is initially there because you are a Southpaw, and if you rotate the guy the right way, you have an advantage. Is that correct?
Yeah, exactly. I mean, what do you think? Those of you tuning in, weigh in. Make your comments into the YouTube. Let us know what you think. Whether you think Lomachenko has a chance against Gervonta Davis. And I put it like that only because of, if past history is any prediction of the future, I mean, Gervonta Davis has done away with 28 of those guys with a KO or a TKO. And, only 2 of them have escaped that. Everybody else went to sleep. So I don't know. What do you think?
I see a brutal beating, not brutal beating. I see him beating Lomachenko up the last 3 rounds kind of decisively, but Lomachenko being able to survive the knockout. But it would be a really a decisive victory if he doesn't get him out of there. But the last 3 rounds, he's really going to put it to him. Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. What do you guys think? I don't know. It's a tough one to say, especially knowing what we know about.
And I mean, interrupt, but Tank does have a chin. Right. He really does. So if he's disregarding anything that you can come to move him, you're just food. I mean, Lomachenko with the IQ or not, if the IQ cannot be overcome by his own IQ, as I said earlier, he would just simply beat him down.
Yeah.
Take the blows, do whatever he has to do, and just beat him down. Beat the IQ down.
Right. Yeah, I don't listen, man.
He's brutal to do that.
What?
He's brutal enough to do that. To throw away the IQ and beat him down. He'll do that.
Yeah.
He won't go the distance just for whatever. He won't do that. He wants to take you out.
Yeah. No, exactly. I'm just wondering, where where does he go next? Who do you think is his next opponent, Harold?
You know what the world wants? Shakira can't sell no seats right now. I don't know who else can sell seats,
Right.
Who's going to sell seats with him?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you think,
Haney can't sell no seats with him now. He's tarnished.
Yeah, you think Ryan Garcia wants another shot at that?
Yeah, that'll work.
Yeah, that'll work. I mean,
especially come out, he got suspended, this, that, and the other. He had the hurt rib, blah blah. Hey,
right.
It's feasible.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, I'd like to see that run back.
He'll get beat again. He'll get beat again, and it'll be a little worse.
I'd like to see it. I mean, after Ryan Garcia has this momentum coming off the victory against Devin Haney, who knows? He's got a little more confidence in himself, in what he's capable of doing. I don't know. I'm just
no. With Devin Haney, he knew mentally he had him from when they were kids. When he steps in there with Tank, there's no mental advantage. There's none of that. There's none of that. And he's already been there and felt that. He knows he has nothing there.
Yeah.
They'll run it back for the money or whatever, and he'll take another loss. That's what that is.
Right. Huh. Well, I mean, look, Shakur is number 2. Shakur is right there. He's number 2, man. I don't know why they're waiting. He's got 21-0. He's got one of the best records. I mean, you got William Zapata, who's number 4. His record's 30-0. You know, I mean, he's 30-0 with no knockouts. You got Raymond Muratalla, and he's 20-0. You know, I mean, I don't know. Denis Berenchek, he's a 19-0. I don't know. I don't see anybody else in the lineup that, you know, is ready for that kind of a fight. You know, there are some good fighters coming up, but like Keyshawn Davis ain't ready. You know, he's number 12. No. He's not Frank Martin. They pulled Frank Martin out, though. I will tell you this, because they pulled him out from, you know, down in the 10 or 11 ranking before he took that fight.
And he made a good choice. Shakur was going to give him $1 million. He got 3.5 for this. And then he got a bit of the back end. So he should round out around $5 million. Now, $5 million is life-changing money. Now, he'll only probably get almost 3. But the rest of it is going to taxes and everything else. But he should clear at least $2.5 million out of the 5.
Yeah, 3. He should get 3. I mean,
I just said, you know, he should get 3 after everybody's gets theirs. And that's life-changing money if you know what to do with it. And he'll get another fight because he fought well against Tank. And when you lose the Tank, you get a pass.
Yep. Yeah, man. Tank's the best in the division, no question about it, and possibly, arguably, the best fighter pound for pound out there. So,
man, Rolly could fight Frank. You know, Cruz could fight Frank. Man, please. Yeah. There's a lot of, because he ran through them boys. They got a whole tournament within themselves, which is fine with me.
Yeah, I actually would love to see the Lomachenko fight. I really would. I'd love to see Shakur against Davis. I don't see it happening. I just don't see that. I don't see them making that fight.
It's just right now. It's not financially feasible. It's just not feasible financially. It just doesn't make any sense right now.
Well, I mean, it does for Shakur.
Yeah. But I mean, no.
He's got to fight.
I mean, you want to let. Look, Shakur has to prove himself. He's a champion, but he's got to prove that he can really do something.
Yeah, but Harold, stop for a second. Frank Martin was he's not a box office draw either. They took that fight. So if they can't bring that argument to me, that you can't take a Shakur because the money's not there. The money's never going to be there if he doesn't step up and fight, if they don't give him an opportunity to fight and develop. If he beats Davis, guess what?
But I get that. Why lose to Shakur where your stock drops totally? Because everybody who fights Shakur is going to look bad because he knows how to do that. And you lose all your profitability. Go get your butt whooped by Tank where you can make some money. And then you can circle back around. But you will lose your stock losing the Shakur. You lose your stock because Shakur can't sell no seats right now. And you lose to him, you lose your profit. You go to Tank, I mean, you have it on the sliding scale back down, he'll still make millions. If he loses to Shakur, he'll make what, 300-400 million or whatever. But the sliding scale there goes back down to hundreds of thousands because he lost to Shakur.
Well, Gervonta's spoken about this often. He's actually commented that, you know, he wants out. He wants out of boxing. He wants out of all of it. He's looking to retire. He's really Gervonta Davis. He said he said he wants out, man. He's tired of it. He's sick of it. He's sick of everybody. He wants to get out. So, I mean, I heard him say it from his mouth. That's the only reason. I'm not.
I know. It's not. You've been around boxing your whole life. You've heard that. So how many?
That's true. Well, I mean, when I heard him say it, I kind of understood, man. He doesn't want to be in the limelight. He doesn't want the media. He doesn't want to deal with all the people. He can't go anywhere. You know, stardom like that is not all that it's cracked up to be, Mr. Harold Hunt. But
that's true. But he can tolerate it for 2 more years, and he will tolerate it. And he'll just say this right now to get the buzz or whatever. But that boy gonna fight at least 2 to 3 more years.
Yeah.
He's not quitting nowhere.
Look, Harold, it's very important for the listeners to know the next 2 fighters in position number 2 and 3, right below Gervonta Davis, are both southpaws. So if our little hypothesis about southpaw fighters is true, we got something.
You're hating him. You want him to get beat by a southpaw. You think a southpaw could beat Tank. So that's why.
Tank is a southpaw. The only person that can beat Tank is Tank. The only person that can beat Tank is Tank, because I don't see either one of the number 2 or 3 beating him. But I'm just saying that, you know, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball, Mr. Harold Hunt. And Gervonta Davis, if you're listening to this, I am not saying that either one of those guys can beat you. What I'm saying is they're both southpaws, and you know, and I know that fighting another southpaw is not the easiest thing for a southpaw.
That's crazy that you're coming up with this
Harold's
now. Okay.
Fight, bro.
All right, you are. Okay. All right. No southpaws available that could possibly beat him. You just feel like that particular style administered properly would give him problems. That's what you're saying.
I think if his record is any indication of what his preference is to who he likes to fight, and also who he has the most experience fighting, he has more experience fighting right-handed fighters if you look at his resume. That's all I'm saying. I'm pointing to a crack in the armor, a potential crack in the armor that you folks that are listening to our amazing Boxing Breakdown program can go and investigate. And you come back and you tell me if what I said has any validity at all, because I'm a scientist of boxing. I'm bringing up a potential, one of the only, cracks in his armor is, and it's just a hypothesis. I said
you're grasping at straws here. You're grasping at straws, looking for anything. Boy, you know defensively he's sound, right?
Who?
And you know a Tank. Defensively he's sound. And he will take some blows to deliver his own. So he's not a cutie. All right. Yeah. So with that there, I don't even see a southpaw giving him problems.
Well, I mean, this is something we're gonna have to find out. For those of you tuning in, we're gonna have to.
Okay, so who can move up and find him? Who can move down and find him? Who has a good southpaw stance that you think could give him who? Who's a good southpaw?
I think Vasily Lomachenko and Shakur, former Olympians, both of them, cream of the crop in the sport of boxing right now. The best possible pole position you could be in. I mean, look, if I'm Gervonta Davis, I take the older fighter. I take the older fighter first. Cash in on that one with Lomachenko, and then I go for Stevenson. After Stevenson has had a little bit more time, to sit there on the shelf. Maybe he's going to get a little older, a little softer. Who knows? Maybe get a little frustrated, mess around outside of the boxing gym, and waste a little, not have focus, and then he's going to move in for Stevenson. Right now,
Mark.
I don't know.
Stevenson's got a fight coming up.
Who?
If he knocks the guy out and shows all this pedigree and all this right on the heels of this kind of knockout, we may get some traction. We might. But if he doesn't do well here, he fights next month, right?
He fights here in New Jersey at the Prudential Center in Newark. He's it's for the WBC World Lightweight title, and that's what's on the line. It's a 12-round fight, and it's versus.
It's in DC, right?
No, it's in Newark. It's up here in New Jersey. He's fighting Archerum Hayatuahawanan. I can't say his last name. Sorry, bro. I can't say it. It's a hard one. It's Hara Tuyanan. That's his last name, okay? But this guy, his record's 12-1, bro. I mean, what? It's a showcase fight in Newark, New Jersey.
Yeah,
Okay?
it is.
It
But the
is.
point is, he has to be spectacular with it. You got it. He needs some photo ops. He needs some footage. You need something to run against Tank's footage of him knocking people out.
He's fighting at his home in his hometown in Newark, New Jersey. He's not going to build up more fans than he already has because it's Newark. He's got the whole city sewed up.
Okay, so
I think
what do you
Lomachenko has the bigger crowd. Lomachenko has a very, very, very dedicated and loyal fan base.
Oh yeah, he brings the country with him.
I say the Lomachenko fight makes more sense from a financial point of view and a money grab point of view. And I think that Gervonta comes out, victorious. I don't know that he gets I don't know he gets a KO though. I don't know. On Lomachenko. I'm not sure if he can do that.
You were talking about that, but you think he's a KO on
Shakur?
Yes.
No.
No, I don't think so either.
No. I don't think either one of those fighters. If he's got a chance of getting a
he has
KO,
a better
it's
chance
going to be against the older
Loma.
fighter. Yeah. The older, slower fighter who throws less. His punches, he throws less punch combinations. His rhythm is a little slower. His reflexes are a little slower. That's just no disrespect. Still one of the best fighters pound for pound in the world. No question about it.
Well, I've always liked Shakur over Tank. Always have.
Yeah. And I understand why, I mean, I'm trying to think of, who's in the super lightweight division that could come down. I mean, scratching my head here a little bit on that one. Well, I mean,
Keith Sweat had a song called
Haney's
Nobody.
not coming down.
Nobody.
Subarel Matias is not coming down. Teofimo Lopez is not coming down. I mean, Isaac Cruz could come down. I can't speak for him, but I don't think
he'll come down for the payday.
He might.
And he also can keep his belt. Is he a BC or BA a belt holder? Is it C or A?
Who?
Cruz.
Is Isaac Cruz?
Is it a BC or BA? I think it's a BC. If it's a BC, he'll get to keep it. Come down, get whooped.
He's got the WBA. He's got the WBA.
Well, BA do it too. They'll let him keep that belt, go down, get whooped, take that money, and then go back and defend that belt. So, so that's the and it's like we always said, he's the only one that went the distance with Tank. Yeah. So, and the public don't know the boy's hand was hurt, and the public don't know that's the best performance I've seen from him out of all the knockouts was him beating that boy with one hand and setting all that stuff up with one hand.
Right.
It was beautiful. He showed all defensive prowess with the one hand, offensively and defensively with the one hand. He didn't even use a hurt hand to set anything up. Yeah. I mean, that was spectacular. It was a one-arm fighter, offensively and defensively perfect. That's the best fight. Yeah, the knockouts are beautiful, but that was just Picasso-like because he had one hand and he dogged that boy. He just couldn't. You couldn't finish him, but he was cleanly hitting him, and that was impressive to me.
Yeah, you know who I was looking at as a potential fight that maybe they could procure. I don't know. I don't think he'll ever come up, but you've got this guy Oscar Valdez, who is coming. He would be coming up in weight. He'd be coming up from super featherweight.
Yes, but Tank walks big boys down, knocks them out. Anybody coming up is out. That's not even worth it.
Yeah, I'm just thinking.
Come take the money and take the butt whooping, but you're not going to do nothing because Tank knocks out much bigger men.
Yeah, no,
you can move all you want to.
I think the fight to take, to be honest, is the Lomachenko fight. I mean, let's go. We've done your job, you matchmakers out there. Top Rank, sign a contract. Make the fight happen. Loma versus, Gervonta Davis. Make it for October or November, right? Nice payday right before the holidays. December.
We got Turkey Island Chic out there with all that paper.
Thanksgiving weekend. Make it there. Everybody, Turkey Day. Everybody's sitting around watching fights. It would be a great time to make that fight. Anyway. We're not
Well,
matchmakers. We're just broadcasters. So but we do have a say. We get to say what our dream would be, right?
yeah.
Well, let's see what happens with that. Anyway, Harold, let's get into this. You got any news on Crawford?
Crawford. Of course, he's moving up. He's fighting for an interim title at a little heavier weight there.
Yeah.
He's fighting a really a really European type fighter with a little power, what have you. And
Yeah.
but does have the pedigree to fight those European guys a little more easier than most, I would think.
Yeah. 40-0, 31 KOs. Unbelievable. Titles, he's got the WBA, WBC, and WBO at the point of this broadcast. And, his next fight is against Israel Madhromov. And the belt's on the line, WBA, WBO. And it's in Los Angeles at the BMO Stadium. And that fight is taking place on August 3rd of this year, August 3rd, 2024. And it'll be an interesting fight. It's the guy's 10-0, Harold.
Yes, he is.
Come on, like what? I don't even know how they got that fight approved, but whatever.
Well, okay, it's another weight up, right? Just like Benavidez got his interim belt with light heavyweight, so now he's an interim. He's a quasi champion, whatever, and it's the same type of opportunity that is afforded here. But it is a legitimate title. It is a championship. It is real talk. It is keeping him busy. It is keeping him in the forefront. So
I guess
why not?
It keeps him relevant. He's fighting a guy from Uzbekistan, right? He's 10-0 with 7 KOs, and he's got 1 draw on his record. And the draw that he has came from a guy named Michael Soro, okay? From, I guess he would be from England. I believe he was from England. But, his record is, mostly European fighters.
Let me look up the record right quick.
Yeah, he's not. His record is again 10-0 with 7 wins coming by way of KO, one draw. He's an orthodox fighter, 5'8". He's got he doesn't have the pedigree of a Terrence Crawford. I think that'll be an early night, an easy payday for him, keep him active, but nothing more. It's not going to be a big pay-per-view draw. It's not going to be, I don't even know if it's on pay-per-view. It's probably just, what do you think? On, I don't even know where they're going to show it. Yeah, man, I got that, Harold. So, yeah, man, Canelo's doing what he's doing. We didn't really hit any of these other topics. We rounded out at 45 minutes. So I think it's about time to wrap up. I will tell you that some of the upcoming fights that I wanted to talk about and that I will just mention briefly is we got Teofimo Lopez squaring off against Stephen Calgat on June 29th on ESPN. And we've got Shakur Stevenson against Arturam on July 6th on ESPN+. Joe Joyce is fighting Derek Chisora on July 27th, live on TNT Sports. And then we've got Terrence Crawford versus Israel Madhromov on August 3rd, live on DAZN. So that's your wrap-up. That's the upcoming fights. And, I want to thank you, Harold, for being on the broadcast. Thank you for listening in. Please make sure you like the broadcast, share the broadcast with folks in the boxing industry. We appreciate that. If you're on YouTube, hit the like, subscribe, and the notifications so you can be notified when we go live. And without further ado, Harold, and you guys, thank you so much for being on the broadcast. See you on the next episode of the Boxing Breakdown. Peace and love.
See you guys later. Next time.
That's right.
Fight fans, join host Mark Roxey and special guests as they break down all aspects of the boxing world, including news, business, management, training, promotions, fan reactions, upcoming events, matchups, future boxing stars, title fights, state of the boxing world, and all the stuff you don't see when you watch boxing. This podcast is released each week on Thursday at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Live streamed on YouTube, Instagram, and Facebook Live. It's the Boxing Breakdown, hosted by Mark Roxey.
And Mr. Harold Hunt. Peace and love.
Thank you. All right.